Hello there, I'm Narabax. Welcome back to our William Speedrun. We'll be doing part 4 here. And honestly, we're going to continue just where we left off. We're going to continue focusing our research into cooling. And we'll hopefully have a bit more of a challenging season next time around. If you have enjoyed this series, please like and subscribe. Helps me out a ton. And thank you to everyone who's already done so. Let's get into it. As said, we're going to continue. So we have a couple of things coming up. As you can see, we have 3 research projects finishing on the same day. That's number 1. We have our underfloor research finishing a week later. What we are going to do here first is actually boost Piastri's accuracy stat and control stat a little bit. And again, we're going to focus these up to 97, but we're going to stop because there's no real need to go any higher. We're going to get smoothness up to 50, and then we're just going to either save every point we get, or, you know, invest them into racecraft. We'll have to see. We also do have a F1 schools invitation. We're just gonna not attend. There's no need to. Regulation vote for the sporting changes. We do now have double points for last race starting next season. Behrman has some points which we're going to distribute between braking and reactions. Pourchaire has none, as is expected. And we did well at the Austrian Grand Prix, which is also to be expected. Now, side pods, chassis and suspension, I believe, is what's about to finish here. There we are. And we're going to start new projects right away, and they're all going to be the same thing, basically. We're going to do chassis, we're going to focus cooling, get this up, and yeah, it's kind of a rough thing to do. I should probably just put one engineer on this, but going to get cooling up for test purposes, and that's really all we're going to do. Of course, it's going to give us, again, a little bit of a boost in other areas, but the main one here that we're going for is just get cooling up and running. And we'll see if it helps out next season. There we are. And we're going to do the same for, I believe, the suspension. And we'll change the underfloor something else. We might do one CFD on something else just to test some things out here. But for now, I think we are okay by just, you know, not doing anything in particular. I think it should still be okay. And again, this is what we'll be going for. We'll be boosting brake cooling a bit. There we are. We'll consider what we want to use the CFD time for once we get the underfloor. But I think, again, I feel like that is one of the how should I put this? One of my excuses, if you will, to use the underfloor on something a little bit more efficient. Let's see here. Race prep, French Grand Prix. Good performance targets, and I think we'll be just doing what we can usually. Both at top. I'm a little bit out of this, as you might tell, because I've been focusing on a few other things lately. I've been busy with work, and but now I'm back into the recording. We'll have to see tomorrow if we do a stream or not. I'm considering doing a McLaren run, where the goal is to try and win within the first season, and I think that could be a lot of fun, really. Or, you know, another one with a bit more longevity to it, but we'll see. I am indeed considering streaming tomorrow. With that said, let's start off to the French Grand Prix. Here we are. We're about to start the French Grand Prix. As you can see, we're doing a 1-star medium to hard. In terms of time performance, we can expect the mediums to be about 2/10 slower than the softs, and the hards 3/10 slower than the mediums again. Degradation is going to play a part though, so doing a 3-stopper with a soft involved doesn't really seem to be good choice, honestly. So this is probably the best thing we could do, and it's probably what we would have done even if we started further back, because the degradation is quite harsh. A 10th a lap versus 700s for the mediums and 500s for the hards. So as you can see, the softs will be good for getting up the grid, but then you'll quickly start to lose that once you need to pit again. So we're going to do a 1-stop here. We're not going to do anything special with this. We had about 2.5 seconds in quali, so
and here we go.
We still have a huge
with
advantage.
The French Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
As you can see here, the other teams basically have done the same in terms of tires that we did. We have, well, a lot of them on the hards as well, so I think we can be happy with the strategy so far. In terms of speed here, we are already leaving behind the rest of the pack. Gasly in third, Tsunoda in fourth. Kind of a interesting one, I will not lie. Didn't see that one
Oh,
coming.
did someone run wide
And we
there?
have Russell in 20th, Doohan in 19th.
Firm on DRS.
This is a very weird, you know, setup. Oh, Piastri
We
spun.
can take a look now.
But
now we see the
he should probably have had enough there on, you know, the cars behind. Yeah, that the only thing he falls behind it is Pourchaire. And we might need to already start running a little bit on conserve here. Gonna slow Pourchaire down a bit and allow Gasly to catch up. We want them to DRS each other for development points, so no problem doing this, honestly. And we're just gonna allow the race to, you know, run its run on its own from here, really. I'm impressed that Gasly is actually able to keep Verstappen behind him. That's not something I saw coming, and as you can see here from the timesheet so far, we are about 1.3 seconds ahead of third. 2 seconds there, so we are gaining a lot of time each lap.
Someone spun out.
But yeah, pretty chill race so far. Sorry for not talking a lot. I need to respond to a message. And, well, as one would expect, we're doing pretty well. We're pit stop ahead of the rest here. We could test some other tires, but once again here, even with the spinner involved, we have Piastri here with just 5-6% behind Pourchaire and standard.
Someone's run
And
wide.
again, I just feel like the pace stats are worth more. Just a pure pace that you can get. If you have the highest smoothness and you can latch onto the car in front, yeah, sure, it's good. But unless you have that, there's no real point. We're going to be stretching the pit stops a little bit here to make sure that we have extra hard tire life towards the end. It's probably even the better choice, so we're going to stretch one more lap here, I'm thinking, for Piastri and 2 more laps for Pourchaire. So we're going to have Piastri pit at the end of this one. We'll have Pourchaire pit at the end of his following one. Should be pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and I can be happy with that.
It's a stonking lap.
As you can see, even with the pit stop there, it's 20 seconds ahead of third, which is Stroll. Probably due to him running hard. Yes, he hasn't pitted yet.
Looks like there's been a lockup.
But yeah, they're pretty close to each other, so we can be happy with that. The only thing I need to kind of manage now towards the end, unless we have an accident, is just a slight amount of fuel management. I think will be good. Minute now to third place, which is pretty good. All in all, a pretty boring race, not much happening here, but we'll have to see how well our team handles the, you know, getting through the back markers situation, if you will. But that'll be really the only time that they could get distance from each other. I don't see anyone challenging for fastest lap here. Most likely we'll just get it by virtue of just driving normally. And again, with this little interval here. Unless Piastri gets stuck again, he should be able to close it down to a second. And he has, but then he hadn't. So, but then he has again, which is good. 10 laps to go. We have plenty of time left. We could tune up, but again, we don't need to. And once again, as you can see, these are the hards, and it's virtually the same here. They ran 26 laps on the softs. That was 5, 6, 7 percentage points. They've run, well, not close yet, but pretty close to it. Same right here, and still just 5%. So it seems the smoothness works the same on every tire when you run standard, which is disappointing because you'd expect smoothness, you being able to take care of your hards better than your mediums, or you'd expect that the more resilient tire, the better a high smoothness would be able to take care of it, but that isn't really the case. It's the same for every tire by the looks of things.
Final lap.
That's kind of what disappoints me too with it. Pourchaire here gets the victory. Piastri second. Norris and Sainz 3-4 for Red Bull. As I said, Norris and Sainz with a 3-4 for Red Bull. Sainz making 14 places. Norris 6. Good race from them. Gasly 5th. Ocon 6th. Russell 10 for Mercedes. We have Verstappen 7 for Ferrari. AlphaTauri and Alpine finish out the points. Well, they don't, because we've left the top 10 point system. We're currently only top 6 points. So yeah, Red Bull is doing good. Williams did well. Well, we did, of course. Alpine and Mercedes finish out the points. There we are. We finally got it correct. There's a driver championship. Pourchaire is gaining now on Piastri, but he still has 9 points to go on, which translates to 3 races. In the worst case scenario, 1-2s. Well, in the best case scenario, worst case, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, and I'm getting embarrassed. So let's just leave it at that. Constructors, no changes. Drivers, no changes. And with that, we are ready to have a look at the development. Development wise, I'd say we did pretty well. Almost 1500 points here. Well, 1500 points average. These two, they both get development point. Very neat. We also earn a bit more extra money here. About 1.3 million extra. It is also rather neat. And we have our underfloor research completed. So first things first. Let's slap a point here for control for Piastri is almost complete, you could say. And we're just going to focus on, again, maxing Pourchaire smoothness, and then we'll get on with the smoothness testing. Underfloor research complete. Let's research a new part. And again, I'm wondering if I should do something like this. Just put CFD full into the underfloor. Or if that is tad rude in a no research scenario. But I feel like what we're going to do to limit ourselves is that we're only going to make one iteration of a part next season. I'm going to be allowed to use CFD time this season because it just hurts my soul to not do it. And I'm just going to make one underfloor, one rear wing, one front wing next season, and we'll see what we can do with it. If we end up getting in a troublesome position, so be it, but I'm thinking it's worth it. And we're looking good. Should be okay here. Again, we are just barely, cancelling out this. We're going to get quite a bit, honestly, in drag reduction and airflow. But I can live with that. I know I'm, well, a bad one for saying that we're going to just do cooling and then I do that. But it just hurts my soul. That's the best way I can describe it. With that, we are now ready for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Even though I am, as bad as I am making decisions. We'll set up our goals here. Fastest lap, qualifying, Q3. And we'll see how we do in the race. And we're back with the Hungarian Grand Prix. Now, here's the interesting thing. We actually have a funny little thing and we can test some things. So I put this virtually the same engine in. It is 96%. So they're running the exact same car part setup here, for starters. And as you can see from the car strategy here, strategy 2, 3443, 3443. They're running different strategies, and you'd expect Pourchaire, with his higher smoothness, to be able to take more advantage of, you know, a lower tire degradation to potentially eke out a better time here, even if you know it's 3 different compounds. So we're gonna test this. It's not a good idea because it's gonna hurt our stats a bit. But if we take a quick look here at the compound performance, you can see that even soft to medium isn't that big of a difference. It's less than a tenth. It's actually just 600s. So honestly, doing this probably will not work. It probably will not help. And even from medium to hard, it's, well, 3-4 tenths. In theory, it could be great. But I think I might need to personally have a change of his strategy here. And what I'm thinking to do here is very simple, that we do another medium stint. And we do, not this, that's the wrong way. We do something like this. And because as you can see, the mediums are supposed to have a fairly decent advantage over the hards. Starts out with 3 tenths. But of course, if we stretch them this far, it's not going to be that much of an advantage. But again, it's just something I want to test. This is supposed to be the faster strategy. Let's see how they stack up against each other. We don't have a fresh soft here. If we had one, it could have been a lot better. So we'll test this. It's a bit different, but I think it could still be fun.
The drivers there. This is it. The Hungarian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
Can Pourchaire make a challenge down the straight here? Not really. Sainz is right behind. Leclerc is behind there again. As you can see, Verstappen took a penalty and is starting at the back here. Let's speed things along, and we have already established a gap. Pourchaire is kind of falling behind here, I'm not going to lie. He's losing a little bit of time. It's very slight, as you can see, just 300s. He actually gained that last. So we'll have to see how this strategy works out. If it can actually, you know, jump Piastri in the pits and potentially give him a better race pace here, all things considered. It'll be an interesting one, but the fact that they are DRSing off each other is, of course, also a potential issue. Piastri has also had a spinner. And honestly, we could slow him down, but I think that we allow this 3-second gap to be as is, because as you can see, Piastri is actually catching up quite quick on mediums versus softs. So gained 4 tenths that last lap. We have Gasly out on the track, 5 tenths that lap.
Cars, I think. Let's see what happened there. Watch this.
The Gasly and the Red Bull. Did a kamikaze. That sucks. Luckily, neither of them are out though, which is good. Doohan has actually made his way up to 15th here, which is kind of impressive. In terms of tire strategy, there's actually quite a lot of soft runners, so that too could make this a bit more interesting. But as you can see, Piastri has already caught up to Pourchaire, so even with what could be considered an early tire advantage, the pace stat is just too good, I feel. We should probably pit Pourchaire here, get him onto the mediums.
Oh, there's a spin!
He has more than enough room here that he will get out in free air. This will probably even compound Pourchaire's problems, because I believe Piastri will still be quicker on old mediums versus fresh ones. Nope, Pourchaire is a little bit quicker here. Actually quite a bit quicker. But is it quick enough to make up a pit stop like this? Is the big question.
It's a stonking lap.
Who's running wide there?
Well, he made a second of that. Okay, he might actually make this work. This could be interesting. It's probably the most interesting thing I've had so far this season. And never mind, Pourchaire spun, and he lost way more than Piastri did.
We've just had a spin. Let's have a look. Now we see the Williams here.
How exactly did he spin out that he lost that much time?
What a spin!
Why does it sound like he just did a magic trick to you, man? But yeah, that was a bit of a shame because he is actually gaining quite a bit. They both spun, but then again, I believe Pourchaire lost way more than Piastri did. And Pourchaire actually gained a full second that last lap, so the fact these mediums are running low is really starting to take a toll on it. And are you within? You're actually ahead in terms of the pit, but you are going to have to pit again, which is your Achilles heel here. But you could potentially make up the time. I think that might actually be possible. So let's get Piastri in for his hards. We're a little bit late here. I think that should be okay. And we'll allow the race to just progress. With that, Pourchaire now has 6 seconds down to Piastri. But Piastri is also gaining rather quickly here. 4 tenths. Hards versus old mediums. 4 tenths there too. Lost actually a bit there, probably due to back markers. But in general, I believe Piastri will be able to hunt him down here before he even does the pitting. So we'll have to see if Pourchaire can, during his last medium stint, to actually do something to threaten Piastri. But as for now, we're looking good. Gonna allow Pourchaire to run a few more laps. He's over the estimation, and we don't want to. Well, if we can run these to an equal level of. Well, Pourchaire just went wide, so that also was a bit of a problem in terms of trying to rate this. But it is falling wide behind there. Lost 7 seconds. That last one.
You're doing very good. Lap time are good. Lap time are good.
2 seconds slower. Almost equal. So yeah, it's a bit bad. I should have hit him earlier, but I got distracted. So let's get him in on the mediums. Potentially we could try a stretch some softs, but don't see that really working. And once again, it isn't that much of a difference between softs and mediums. So I will keep on testing this, mostly because I find it interesting, and at the end of the stint we might run aggressive. So let's see how 70% hards do versus 90% mediums on this track. Again, a lot of our problems is due to, you know, getting stuck behind back markers. So far it's was 4 tenths, then 1 tenth, then a whole 1.2 seconds. 16 laps to go, 1.2 seconds. It still will not be enough to catch up to Piastri, but this is also due to Pourchaire having a spin of his own. That was way worse than Piastri's. The lockup and things like that. But again, I can't really see. I still feel investment into smoothness isn't worth it. It might just be my own bias. Might just be me not seeing things correctly. But I just can't get a good. I just can't find a good reason to invest in it, honestly. It's probably my, again, 6th skill that I would consider investing into. Pourchaire is gaining a little bit, but the back markers is still causing a little bit of problems, so he will not have a chance to get this before the end of the race, sadly. Well, maybe if there's a safety car, which sadly it isn't, Tsunoda is in the pits. Doing its 19th, so honestly, a shame he didn't get a better team.
The focus on Tsunoda. They've lost.
There's a big crash in the main straight.
Norris had a crash too.
Watch this. We're looking at Lando Norris.
His second for the race, I believe. Well, second incident. Oh,
That crash is terrible news for the team.
not too bad, although I would assume that in properly would just delete his suspension. But yeah, I don't think we'll do any more smoothness testing until we have the stats where we want them.
That's your last
And I'll
lap,
try and
last
remember
lap.
it this time, because I'm pretty sure I've said that before as well.
That would be checkered flag. Checkered flag.
20 seconds behind. An extra stop. So let's say that they lost 5 seconds on that first spin, 7 seconds on the lockup. It'd still be 8 seconds behind with an extra stop, trying to take advantage of the tire. Again, running the same strategy could also work, but we're already trying that. I wanted to see if running 3 sets of tire with higher, you know, lower deg would be better. Ferrari managed to get both their cars on the points. Alpine and Red Bull get the other point scoring positions, which is good for them. And no changes to drivers, no changes to constructors. And we will continue. Because of our smoothness shenanigans, we gained, as usual, less development, sadly. Decent amount of money, though. About 800,000 extra. On top of the 4.9. And our mid-season board review. They assessed our performance. We're on target for both of these, which shouldn't be a surprise. And once again, they have granted us graciously the 1.5 millions that we need to really survive here. Monthly car development report. First and everything but cooling, as we usually have been doing. Financial report. Don't really care. We have 220 million to play with. And let's see here. We actually have a point for Vaca. We'll put that in rear wing. We have nothing for any one of the other ones. But what I should probably do is check the pit crew, and they can still just work on car release. We want to bring that up in line with these two. Again, wing adjustments. I'm still okay with just having the accident happen when it happens. I would prefer the other three. Refurbishment completed for the hospitality area. We have 2 researchers incoming here. Should be suspension and chassis, I assume. We will straight up do another one. Drag reduction, everything down to the bottom here. And we're focusing brake cooling, or basically any kind of cooling. But even so, as you can see, we gain a little bit of a research benefit. We almost we will be gaining about 20%. Research or expertise is the word I'm looking for, sorry, for just this. So it's still good. We are also alleviating some of the losses here and gaining a bit in drag reduction, but again, I feel like the cooling experiment is worth it, really. Chassis has also been researched. Let's get another one going, and here we're just gonna do the same thing. No drag, no airflow, everything into cooling, and as you can see, it's going up. But it's going up a bit slower because it's only 3 attributes, and it's a very, very quick thing to get researched, if you will. This should be the side pods. There they are. And we're once again just going to do the exact same thing here. Tune down everything but cooling, and as you can see, we're still gaining about a percentage point here and expertise because we only have 44. And if we when we finish this, we might actually be doubling our cooling expertise because it's only 24%, which is hilariously low, really. So we will still be gaining a little bit of benefit. There's not really much we can do about that. It's just how things are. And honestly, this could also be a fun way of running next season. Just put everything in cooling. No focus on other attributes for the parts, really. Ooh, we could not propose a contract, sadly. Still not looking good for new drivers, sadly. Nothing we can do about that. We are going to refurbish the boardroom. We have the money. Anything else I need to refurbish that I have forgotten about? Nope, looks good. Scouts, Bearman's development. We're going to split it into the pace stats as we usually have done. One in cornering and braking. And Pourchaire actually has a point that we will put into, again, smoothness. We want to try and max it. And with that, I guess we're ready to go to Belgium. Qualifying 1-2, both drivers in Q3 shouldn't be an issue. And let's see here, fastest lap. With that, ready and off. We are ready for Belgium here. We had about 2 tenths in qualifying. Again, both our drivers 1-2. We'll be doing a medium to hard. The soft is a few tenths quicker than the medium and a little bit more than that quicker than the hards. But it has way higher degradation at a 10 per lap versus the mediums, I believe 600s and hards 500s. So we think a medium to hard will probably be the most efficient one. So that's what we're going for both our drivers.
You can hear the excitement in the crowd here at the Belgian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Lights out and away we go. Can Piastri make a challenge here into this first turn? Can. But can he make it stick? Not really. Gasly in third. Tsunoda in fifth. The world is a bit funny at the moment. This save. And Verstappen in fourth. So Gasly's actually keeping up with us, which is scary. Verstappen is falling behind, which is also scary. So gonna be interested to see how this well continues here. But we got rid of Gasly on the first lap here. He is quicker though than the other teams by a fair margin. I assume that is, yeah, that's the softs helping him versus Ferrari and Haas. And honestly, we'll have to see if any of the other soft runners can do some climbing with what they've got. Currently, we're doing 1.5 seconds lap quicker than soft runner, and that is probably just going to keep on getting bigger. 2.5 seconds. That case, 2 seconds. So yeah, this is not going to be pretty at the end. Excuse me. Yeah, I am perfectly happy to just allow Pourchaire and Piastri to do their own thing here. Doesn't really matter too much, and honestly, I might just start cutting down these videos with the dead time. Well, the races themselves.
Okay, there's a big crash.
And just as I say that, we of course have a crash into... Ugh.
There's been a crash. We can take a look now. Now just focus on the Haas. There's the crash.
A classic Belgian crash where you can't see anything.
You're doing very good. Lap time are good. Lap time are good.
But yeah, as I said, let me know what you think. I might start for the future videos to just cut down the dead time when nothing's happening, where we are on front, where we have the advantage. If you want to see the races in full. Because honestly, I am looking for feedback on every video on things that you liked, disliked, and what I could do better, even though I, for most of the time, don't explicitly say it. Hit window entered, but we are going to be running these a fair bit lower. We are still in a very good position, and Gasly is going to the hards here, so I assume he might be trying to keep those for the rest of the race. So it will be very interesting to see if this strategy of his pays off or not. Did overtake Norris here, and currently he is very close to, you know, having a huge advantage over Tsunoda. In terms of lap times too, he's slightly quicker. So this could pay off for him quite a bit here, and he's on his way upwards, as you can see. I believe no one around him has really pitted. Verstappen has. That's the closest one. Now they all have. And Verstappen 5-6 seconds behind. He'll probably still keep on losing time. And we have once again allowed our cars to just go a little bit too far off the deep end. Because I got distracted, but again, it's not really a problem, which is the scarier part in this equation. So Pourchaire will be running his mediums here 1 lap longer than Piastri, just how things are because of his smoothness. And we'll have to see it. Did he gain or did he lose? They both came out about around the same time, so no problem there. 2.2 second pit stop is good though. Once again, we don't really have anything we want to do. Let's just allow the things to go to the end, really. We are going to tune up Pourchaire's fuel, though. He has been behind Piastri for most of the race, so he has a bit more. Namely, almost 1.5 kilograms more. We're going to allow him to burn some fuel and hopefully give Piastri a little bit more of a challenge as a result. Have a little bit more overtaking back and forth would be nice.
Schumacher off.
Let's take a
The
closer
classic.
look. Right, watch this. There's Schumacher.
And then we just see the pants flying. Yeah. Bit unlucky, but not really anything you can do about it. No safety car. Means it doesn't really affect us, if you will. Piastri spinning, though, could affect us quite a bit. And 2.7... Will he be able to
Did somebody
gain?
spin out there? Let's have a look.
Did he spin on
Now
the
we
final
see the
corner?
Williams here.
Yes.
What a spin out.
Going on his way to the straight, I guess. Now, will he actually be able to catch up to Pourchaire here? He should. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. Just slightly quicker. I am gonna not slow down Piastri now, think about it. It's just 7 laps to go. Want to see if he can make something work here. Could push the Haas a bit, but he is closing him down way too quick here, really. Almost a second quicker than Pourchaire. So that was some blue flags annoyance, really, for Pourchaire. Kind of sad, really. 4 laps to go. Higher life, everything's looking good. And Pourchaire is kind of getting left behind here now. Can he close into DRS range, really? Fuel-wise, you're looking good. 2 laps to go. Better to crash. No safety car. Gasly's had a really good race here. Tsunoda too might actually score points for Haas. That would be
Final lap. You're opening your final lap.
kind of unexpected. Russell had a
Here's the
crash on
replay.
turn 8.
Now, just watch the Mercedes here. And that's an off, and a big off.
That's that sucks. Bye bye front wing.
Checkered flag. Checkered flag.
Piastri won. Pourchaire second. Let's see how the rest of the field ends up finishing. 1-2 for us. We expect Gasly with a third here. Powerful for Alpine. Verstappen and Leclerc get 2 Ferraris in points. Haas scoring with Tsunoda. Really good for them. As you can see, a fastest lap about 2 to 3 seconds faster than the other teams. We have 1 change. With that, Gasly moves up to 6th. Constructors, Alpine is still 5th, but now only 1 point behind Mercedes. Not super good in terms of development, as there weren't too many overtakes, as you can see, but I'd say still decent. Not as bad as it could be. We made 6.2 million, with, well, 1.3 million of that coming from performance incentives. So we are making a decent amount of cash. Piastri, we're going to put a point in accuracy. We're going to put a next one in control, then smoothness, and then we're just going to save points until he can't anymore, I guess. Guess we'll figure out just how many points can you put in your back pocket. Suspension has finished researching again. Let's start a new one once we can. Car development report, no changes, as we have been used to now. And we are once again going to just lower everything and focus on the brake cooling, which would now be brought up to 24.9% gain, but it will be a bit lower because we're putting engineers in. But the daily gain is actually a slightly bit higher. If you want to be a bit cheesy, a bit cheap, you can always just put 1 engineer on, and you'll gain slightly less, but it's not a lot less, and you'll be able to save some money. Cost cap wise, we should still be good. 20 million to, well, free money, if you will, to go on. Gassy research has completed, and we're gonna chuck a new one right in there. And once again, we're gonna focus engine cooling. It's kind of hard, as you can see, also to get expertise up for these smaller parts, because they have a lower development time, and also fewer stats, which means a lower expertise gain, really. Well, not really a low expertise gain, but less of a boost to expertise gain due to focuses. With that, I think we're ready. Finish position 1-2, qualifying 1-2, and both drivers in Q3. Let's get on with the Dutch Grand Prix. We are ready for the Dutch Grand Prix. And it's actually quite interesting here, because as you can see from the compound performance chart here, time loss from degradation is very close. It's 500s, 400s, and 300s per lap. So, as you can see, it's not superly different between the tires. You start with a 3/10 advantage on the softs. That 3/10 advantage remains a 3/10 advantage from medium to hard. So with that in mind, we might try and do some shenanigans here. Expected strategies are either soft, medium, soft, soft to hard, medium to hard, and we'll have to see what we do, because I believe it's also potentially gonna rain. And it's actually gonna rain at the late stages of this race. So we could go medium. It would be possible for us. But I think we are actually gonna start on the hards. And also for this race, in terms of, well, in terms of how should I put this, the time consideration? We, what am I even trying to say? Qualifying time, sorry. They're just 1.2 seconds behind us. Well, I say just, it's still a lot of time. But, that could mean some interesting things for the future. And as you can see, this would just barely get us there. So what I'm thinking is that we do a soft to medium stint to get to this point. So we do something like, sorry, we don't need this stint. Something like this, maybe? I think if we do this. Lap 19, we'll pit. We'll get rid of that one. Do the same here for Pourchaire. We'll start on the softs. We'll try and get a medium pit stop in. And then we'll get that over to the wet period, honestly. Again, they're running equal cars because they've had no accidents, which is great. And both have maximum confidence here, so let's get to the race.
It's a somewhat... Here we go. It's the Dutch Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
There's a tire choices here from the other teams. You can see that. Oh, that's pretty close to... Yeah, that's something that's actually upsetting.
Was that a lock-up on the track?
But as you can see, this is basically the preferred strategy for most of the grid. But most of the grid actually has better softs than us. So, I'll have to see how this works out. It's kind of a shame to see Piastri slow down there, because it's one of the things that they supposedly fixed. So, it's a bit annoying, but it should be quick enough to catch up to
DRS enabled.
Pourchaire here. Can also just slow Pourchaire down a bit, that's fine. Gonna run conserve for... Honestly, we're gonna run balanced, and we'll see if we can conserve once it becomes wet. That'll be the goal. But it's actually pretty far into the race. It's like the after lap 40. So we're gonna run conserve from this point on. We're just gonna do it for both drivers to make it easy on ourselves, because we do want our drivers to just overtake constantly to get those development points. Doohan is fighting his teammate in the back, sadly, but Alpine with Gasly is actually good. Alpine with Show, though, is disappointing, sadly. So we might have to scout Gasly and have a look at his stats, see why he's so much quicker than Show. We're getting closer now to our first pit stop, which isn't that surprising. And here we can see Piastri doing a move on Pourchaire. Pit window has indeed been entered, and we'll be making moves accordingly. I think we're going to have Piastri extend this by 1 lap more than expected, just so that we have a little bit to go on for those softs. It will make our life easier, which is what we will be focusing on. And we'll have Pourchaire do the pit stop here after Piastri. That should be okay. This is a result I can live with, personally.
Oh, there's a spin!
Doing with a spin is sad, really. But I wouldn't. I don't see how Gasly's this much quicker than the rest of the field, really. But it's impressive to watch. Gonna go balance the fuel. They can try and burn a little bit of the excess right now. It'll be okay. We have a lot to go on. Currently, we are 20-ish laps around out from rain. In terms of how much rain it's going to be switching between wet and inters quite a bit. So we'll have to see what we do. If we do start with wets, then go inters, then go wets, then go inters again. Because that is what this chart basically suggests. But we'll have to see what is actually quicker. So I'm thinking we start on inters once it starts raining, and if it becomes really bad, we're going for wets if the other teams have way higher pace than us. Currently, though, we're doing really well. We are lapping the entire field currently. Piastri and Pourchaire are both doing their jobs.
Further rain expected.
And we now have some wet weather predicted at lap 40, which is a bit early. Considering there should still be 3 more laps before we start getting rain, which I guess matches this, seeing that the laps are just over a minute here. Pourchaire has actually been left a little bit behind, and it has started raining. So what we are going to do, we are going to double stack. It's just how we're going to have to do things. So we can slow down the first man if we want to. And we're going to gamble on
Seems to be quite
inters here,
slippery.
I feel. 2.2, 2.3.
Raining, just watch out.
Pretty good pit stops. And as I said, we can slow down the one in front, just so that the one in second place can catch up. And currently they're all pitting for inters, so it would seem that we have done the right choice. Can also harvest the RS to slow Piastri even further down. And as you can see, Pourchaire is gaining a decent amount. Now we'll have to see what the AI do, what we do, because it's going to change quite a lot now from just wets to normal, if you will. And it's going to keep on going back and forth. But we'll be trying to stretch these inters to the end, I think. If we're going to pit, it's not going to be for a long time. It's not going to be for a long time. If we're going to pit, we're just going to have to pit, but I don't think we are going to do. We're going to try and make these tires last to the end. What am I even saying tonight? I had a long day at work, that is my excuse, but again, I said I would get this done today, so I'll be very late, of course, but we'll get this video done. Now, because of the rain, it's also harder to overtake, so Pourchaire and Piastri, I'm thinking just let them run their own race. We slow down enough so that Pourchaire could challenge Piastri, so I feel like we've done our job here. Make them equal. We're back to a wet track, as you can see, and none of the AI are... Well, Gasly is actually pitted. How is his lap times compared to ours? So he's 2 seconds faster? 1.3 seconds faster? Gasly ran wide, Pourchaire overtook him. That's an interesting one. And he actually lost a lot of time.
Let's take a look at the replay. Now we see the Williams here. Goodness me, they're completely off the racing line.
Need to allow him to run, you know, back into the race without losing As you can see, yeah, 11 seconds by parking at the side of the track because it ran wide. But nothing I can do about that. We can live with it. Yeah, it was interesting to see that Gasly was doing quite the faster lap times there. And because of his switching between tires, Sainz now has a potential move on him. But
He's just had a spin.
since Gasly has fresher tires, I expect him to leave Sainz in the dust. Pretty good race, all things considered. Pretty straightforward and standard for us. And it would actually be great if the other Alpine car here would show. Could also be a
This will be the last lap coming up.
could also be a challenge here, because Alpine is doing really well with Gasly.
That's the flag.
In all honesty. And there we are. Race over. 1-2 for us as we're used to. That was a bit more of a interesting one. So as you can see, Gasly did the extra wet stop, and he still came out ahead of Sainz. So it worked for him. No big deal really there. He actually was gaining a decent amount on Pourchaire. That is good too. But with this, we have Gasly in third, Sainz fourth for Red Bull, then 5-6 for Ferrari. And honestly, Doohan can't really outperform the Aston Martin too hard. It's just not happening. In terms of driver championship, no changes. Constructors, Alpine moves up now past Mercedes thanks to Gasly's podiums lately. And that's pretty good. Let's see what the how the development went with the wet races. Decent gains in terms of development. Could have been higher, but of course with rain and the DRS being, cancelled, that makes it a bit harder to farm development points. In terms of performance here, the financial performance, we gained 4.2 million extra due to guarantees and incentives, meaning that we made 9.1 million from this race, which is absolutely fantastic. Pourchaire's point goes into smoothness. We're going to put all of them there until we get to 100. And honestly, I'm tempted to give him the same stats as Piastri here. Just smoothness, and see just how big of a difference there is between those two, in all honesty. We have a regulation vote for the financial changes. Prize money. I'm going to vote for this. Purely due to the fact that we have no money issues, and this could make things a little bit more equal, potentially. We have a new ATR period, which we will be looking into once we have the current work on the underfloor done. Again, I am using that ATR period as a cheat day, if you will, so we'll see what we end up actually doing with it. But with that said, we're going to end part 4 here. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope that you've enjoyed. Please tell me if you think that my ATR cheat period is really bad, because it probably is. But again, it just hurts my soul to completely waste it. And we could, of course, also limit ourselves in other ways next season to make up for it. So I'm looking for suggestions. But as I said, we're going to end it here. If you've enjoyed this series and this episode, please do like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And yeah, thank you very much. Hope to see you next time. Bye bye.